Having poor posture can not only make you feel super self-conscious, but it can really bring your confidence levels down. On top of this, it can also ruin your metabolism. All right, now I'm joking with that last one, but there's no denying it that it does make you feel unattractive. We've all had it where we've had that photo taken of us unexpectedly, and to our shock horror when we see it, we can't believe that we look like that and instantly try and sit even taller. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to run through some of my favorite posture improving exercises for you that you can start implementing to your training program. Unlike all these other people online that are giving you these boring stretch routines that you never stick to for more than a couple of weeks, I'm going to show you how you can integrate it with your training plan so you can kill two birds with one stone. So let's just dive right into it. Okay, so with this first exercise, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working on lengthening your lats. So helping you stretch them out as much as possible so you can get a better overhead position. When your lats become tight, you can be more in this forward rounded shoulder position. So we want to help loosen them up and keep your chest nice and taut with your rib cage. So all we're going to need for this is a kettlebell and then a bench. And what we're going to be doing is working on lengthening, but also strengthening your lats. What we want to do, like I said at the start of this video, is kill two birds with one stone. We don't want to waste our time literally just stretching all the time. So we're going to integrate stretching with building strength and muscle tone at the same time. Okay, so for this first exercise then, what we're going to be doing is a kettlebell pullover. So you're going to be holding onto the handles of the kettlebell. Your feet are going to come up onto the bench as well, so you can push your lower back into the bench as hard as you can. This is a crucial part of the movement. What we want to do from here is really focus on driving your rib cage down, okay? We want to keep it compressed all the way through, because if we lift it up and start arching your back, we're going to make this exercise easier and not get as much of a stretch. So when we're in this position, imagine a blueberry underneath your back. This is what I always get my clients to do, and then squish it as much as you can. From here, we're slowly going to reach out, keeping it nice and controlled, making sure that we keep those arms fairly straight, and then stretching down as low as you can, again, without arching your back. If you start arching, then this is like taken away from what we're trying to do. We want to get a nice pause here, and then you're going to think about squeezing and contracting your lats back to that top position. Again, we want to go as slow as we possibly can on the way down, so we're really taking our time in that stretched position. Maybe count to up to 8 seconds, get a nice pause at the bottom where you're fully stretched, and then squeeze up to that top position again. What you'll find is as you do this more and more, you'll be able to get your arms even further back each time, creating a better range of movement and a better stretch through those lats. What you want to do is aim roughly between 3 sets for like 8 to 10 reps, and you're good to go. Next up, we're going to be working the serratus anterior. Now, the serratus anterior is a muscle that kind of sits in front of the lats here, and it may feel like you're working the lats again, but it's a completely different muscle that you're going to be training. Now, the reason why it's important to have a strong serratus muscle is because it helps with bringing your shoulder blade in tightly to your back. What you'll often notice is when people have a weak serratus, they kind of have this wing scapular position and that forward round shoulder position here. Whereas because the serratus hits here, attaches to that scapula, if it's nice and strong, what it does is it pulls that shoulder blade back and down to keep you up nice and tall. So if I was to show you in a hand sort of position, let's say that this is your scapula. If you've got a weak serratus, it's going to be lifting off away from your back, right? Once that muscle is nice and tight, it's going to pull it back nice and tight to your back so you can have better posture and sit taller from the shoulder position. So what we're going to need for this exercise is we're going to need to set up a landmine press, okay? So what we want to do is take the opposite end of the barbell that's not locked into the bottom. We want to keep your elbow in nice and tight here, and we're going to use your other hand to brace against your knee so you're nice and supported and stable. What I want you to think about doing from here is driving from your elbow forwards and extending up to the top position. What a lot of people get wrong with this is they either are too close to here and pushing up just like a shoulder press, therefore just working their front delt, but also what they do is they stop as soon as their elbow's straight, whereas what we want to do is think about wrapping that shoulder blade around that last couple of inches of the movement. That's where the serratus is really going to kick in. So what we want to do again, make sure that elbow stays in tight, think about driving forward, extending up to that top point, slowly coming back down nice and controlled, pause at the bottom, and then you're going to drive back up to the top, stretching out to that top position there, okay? And then we're going to, again, aim for this set for 3 sets, and around 8 to 12 repetitions is going to be completely fine. Next up, we're going to move on to some cable Y raises. Now, this is an awesome exercise for, again, pulling them shoulder blades back and down. The reason being is these cable Y raises are going to work your lower trap muscles, which sit here just below the 2 points of the shoulder blade. When you have weak lower traps, what tends to happen is these shoulders can raise up. Whereas when they're nice and strong, what they do is help to pull the shoulder blades back and down into position, therefore helping you keep a nicer, taller posture. So when it comes to setting up this exercise, all we're going to need is a bench and a cable machine. Now, when it comes to setting up the cable height, what we want is it just slightly above your body when you're laying down into this position here, okay? What we're going to do is cross over your hands onto the cable machine, and then we're going to lay down into position. What I want you to do is really think about pushing your lower back down, just like we did with the kettlebell pullovers earlier. We don't want to end up arching your back as we come up and over. We want to make sure that we keep the rib cage in that same position. So what we're going to do from here is pushing the lower back down as hard as you can. I want you to push your arms up and over, and then think about pulling your shoulder blades back into your back pockets. Nice and slowly release on the way down, coming across the body. And again, you're going to push up and over, really thinking about driving them shoulder blades back and down into your back pockets, and then slowly releasing again as we come down into position. The next exercise we got are some cable face pulls. Now, all my clients love it when I put this exercise in their program because they can really feel it working. Now, during the cable face pulls, what we're going to be training again is we're going to be targeting your rear delts, and we're going to be targeting those muscles all around the middle of your shoulder blades. So again, when they're nice and strong, it's going to help to pull them shoulder blades back together. So when it comes to setting up this exercise, what I'd recommend is find the longest rope possible that you do have in the gym. What I often see with people is they choose quite a short rope and they can't get much range of movement. As you can see here, we're going to be using some daisy chains because it allows us to get a better range of movement, but a rope will be fine for you. So what we want to do basically for setting this exercise up is when we get into position, we want one foot in front of the other so we can ground ourselves as much as possible. If we've got both feet together, we're going to limit ourselves because as that weight gets heavier, it's going to pull us off balance. So what we want to make sure is one foot's in front of the other and we're really anchoring ourselves to the ground. From here, what we want to make sure is that we're allowing our shoulders to be pulled out and around, okay? Again, what I see people often doing wrong is as they come back forward, they just stop where their elbows are. Whereas what we're looking to do is really round that upper back so we can get a better range of movement in those upper back muscles. So from here, after we've got that stretch, what I want you to think about doing is pushing your fists and your elbows back together and rotating your wrists behind you, okay? What we don't want to do is just pull into this position here. We want to try and get that rotation through the shoulder at the same time. What we're going to do is get a pause at the back, nice and slow on the way forward, getting that nice big stretch in the upper back, and then we're going to drive back, squeeze and hold as much as you can, and then we're going to go back to the front for that stretch again, okay? For this exercise, what I would recommend is maybe aiming between 12 to 15 reps. The reason I'm saying higher repetitions isn't because different reps do different things, but it's more for this exercise. The heavier you go with it, the more it's going to be harder to get stability. So what we can actually do is just make sure that we're focusing on higher repetitions to fatigue the muscles as opposed to heavyweight low reps. And there you have it. There are 4 awesome exercises that you can start adding to your workouts to help you improve your posture. Now, as you may notice, I haven't given you a full entire workout dedicated to this or bombarded you with loads of different exercises. This is what most trainers do. They overfry you with giving you too much that it actually stops you from being able to work on other goals. Whereas you and I both know there are many things that you want to work on in the gym. It's not just your posture. You want to improve muscle tone everywhere. So what I wanted to do was give you the most bang for your buck exercises so you can sprinkle them into your current workouts without derailing you from working on the other things that are important as well. If you've enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, then what you can do is head to this video up here because this is going to tell you what causes poor posture so you can get to it at the root of the problem as well.